Hey, Liza, how are you? Gonna bring up the online version of the course. Who do we have? Any here? Anyone? Anyone here? Course. Who do we have? Any here? Anyone? Sorry, guys, it's me rambling on. Course. Doubling rambling on. You got to hear me when I first do it, and then you hear me when I do the replay. I apologize. All right. Today's the 19th. Oops, today's my stepdaughter's birthday. I gotta send her a message, send her a text, wishing her a happy birthday. It's also Martin Luther King Day. Hey, Laura. Laura, how are you? Hi, Anna. And it's 19 days into A Course in Miracles. For those who've been sticking with me. Anna, how are you? I'm pretty good this morning. We're 6 days away from an extremely important lesson for me. One that I've come back to. Lesson 25. If you've been familiar with our friend Dove Fishman, David Fishman goes by the nickname Dove. Dove is Hebrew for David. It's also the symbol of peace, a dove. It's a fitting name for our friend Dove, who's been one of the longest practitioners of A Course in Miracles, just about 50 years. I think there's only one or two who've been practicing longer. Vicky Poppy, a good friend of ours, she's been practicing for about the same. Carol Howe, who I got a chance to talk to on the phone last week, almost a week ago, was one of the earliest. Laura says, I'm doing okay. I'm glad to hear that. And good morning to you. Anyway, it was Dove who inspired me to take lesson 25, sort of as a personal mantra, easing up any confusion I feel the instant that I feel it. It's a great reminder, but we're not there yet. We're 6 days away. Tune in next week and we'll be there. Today we're on lesson 19. Lesson 19 says, let me put my other shoe on as we talk. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. If you remember yesterday, this sounds very familiar, right? Because yesterday we said, thank you, Anna. Wishing a very happy birthday to your stepdaughter, Yogi. Thank you so much. I was about to say she's a good kid, but she's not a kid anymore. She's fully an adult. One of us has gotten older. I don't know who. All right. The left shoe is always a struggle, or the right shoe is always a struggle. That's why I save it for last. If you remember yesterday's lesson, I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. Today takes it a little more subtle. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. Hey, Soma. The idea for today is obviously the reason why your seeing does not affect you alone. You will notice that at times the ideas related to thinking precede those related to perceiving, while at other times the order is reversed. The reason is that the order does not matter. Thinking and its results are really simultaneous, for cause and effect are never separate. That's actually the law of karma, the law of cause and effect. Today we are again emphasizing the fact that minds are joined. Our minds are joined. This is why you're not alone in experiencing the effect of your thoughts. You're not alone in experiencing the effect of your seeing. This is really a wholly welcome idea at first. since it seems to carry with it an enormous sense of responsibility and may even be regarded as an invasion of privacy. Yet it is a fact that there are no private thoughts. Despite your initial resistance to this idea, you will yet understand that it must be true if salvation is possible at all. And salvation must be possible because it is the will of God. Hey, sissy. The minute or so of mind searching which today's exercise requires to be undertaken with eyes closed. The idea for today is to be repeated first, and then the mind should be carefully searched for the thoughts it contains at this time. As you consider each one, name it in terms of the central person or theme it contains, and holding it in your mind as you do so, say, I am not alone in experiencing the effects of this thought about. And we'll explain that a bit more in just a minute. The requirement of as much indiscriminateness as possible in selecting subjects for the practice period should be quite familiar to you by now and will no longer be repeated each day, although it will occasionally be included as a reminder. Do not forget, however, that random selection of subjects for all practice periods remain essential throughout. Lack of order in this connection will ultimately make the recognition of lack of order in miracles meaningful to you. Apart from the as-needed application for today, at least 3 practice periods are required. Shortening the length of time involved if necessary. Do not attempt more than 4. So no more than 4 a day. So this is how we do it. Close your eyes for about a minute or so. First repeat, I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts, and then search your mind for whatever it contains within, and don't dismiss anything. Whatever it contains is perfectly fine to use. Consider each one, whatever thoughts you have, a thought about a person, a thought about an event, hey Mir, a thought about a situation, a thought about an object, whatever it is. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of this thought about my glasses. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thought about this person. Whatever it is that comes to mind, whatever it is that comes to mind. You don't have to understand these. You don't have to understand a single lesson. We practice them. When you practice Zen, you don't understand Zen until you understand Zen. That happens, it's called a satori, an instant awakening. Each one of these lessons offers you a brief satori, an instant awakening. So we practice without the need to understand, knowing that everything clicks when it's supposed to click. Just keep doing the practices. Keep doing the lessons. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of this thought about. All right. Any questions? Ria, my friend, how are you? Soma says, hey, Mr. Handsome, you're not the one for Hector. You are not the one for Hector. I did not know you were with Hector. I thought you were with Jackson. I am doing well, Mir. I hope you're doing well, too. Sissy, how are you? Mir says he's good. Thanks for asking. You're welcome for asking. Hey, Joe. Someone says, I was with Hector before, but now I'm with Jackson. Gotcha. Laura says, how many boyfriends do you have, Selma? Mir says, how's Air Force Woman? Hope she's doing well. Ask my blessings, sir. She is doing well. We are, I do not know Worf. Not personally. Sissy says, I'm okay as well as can be at this time. Anything going on, Sissy? Anything we can help you with? Mir says, Selma, amazing, 100. It's a lot. Selma says, I did a lot of guys and boys. Any, Sissy says, nothing really. You have a link to drop? We should be what? Are you still continuing with the Edgar Casey? Should be session 10, 11. Sissy does have a link. So today, guys, we're going to talk to Keith Giles. Keith is an author. I'm going through one of his books right now. The Quantum Gospel of Mary and the Lost Gospel of Truth. This is concerning the Lost Gospels. Some call them Gnostic texts. That Nag, what is it? The Nag Haggadi? I don't remember. That's where they were found. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene, one of the original disciples of Jesus. Some say as she was enlightened at the same time as Jesus. Many consider her gospel to be very dangerous, and it is dangerous in the fact that it showed the level of her influence within early Christianity that was diminished and purposely cut out. Both the Gospel of St. Thomas and the Gospel of Mary Magdalene point to a different view entirely than the Christianity that we have now. What it points to is something akin to non-duality. Hey, Astot, how are you? Imagine that, a non-dual Christianity. Non-duality is the no separation between ourselves and the Godhood, which is really what Christ is. Remember, Christ was not Jesus' last name. It's not Jesus Christ. Jesus the Christ. Guess what? You are the Christ as well. And this is what the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, the Gospel of St. Thomas, as well as A Course in Miracles, all of it points to. Michael says, Book of Thomas tells you how to become enlightened if you look at it. And of course, the church didn't want that. Excellent point. Excellent point. So our guest this afternoon at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, he's written 2 books. One on the book of the Gospel of St. Thomas, and one on the quantum, what was it? I just read it. The Quantum Gospel of Mary and the Lost Gospel of Truth. So I hope you guys come by and hang out, ask him some questions. And then I Hamadi, the Book of Mary Magdalene and the Book of Judith, and my favorite, the Book of Thomas. So I'm diving in much of those. I think I actually prefer the Gospel of Mary. I have not looked at the Gospel of Judas yet. We're going to ask him. We're going to ask Keith about that. Swinging by, Michael. And Jesus tells you how to light your candles, which are your chakras, in the Book of Thomas, and it teaches you how to become enlightened. Awesome. Hey, Eric LaPointe, how are you? Eric, how was the grilled cheese sandwich and tomato soup? Sima says, hi, Eric with chicken. Laura says, hello, Eric. So, Michael, that's pretty cool that you have the knowledge of the Lost Gospels. I appreciate you sharing it with us. Selma says, message retracted. What a thing to say. Mir says, say, brother Eric LaPointe, hope you're doing good. So, Mir, thanks for asking about the Air Force lady. I will extend the greeting to her next time we talk. Michael says, that sounds amazing. Yeah, I've been looking forward to talking to him. I reached out to him yesterday, fortunately, because he did not remember that he had me scheduled to talk. Eric Point says it was great. Awesome. How are you proceeding in the challenge and the burpee giant challenge? Someone says I think Eric should change his name into Eric the Chicken. I'm sure he will take that under some serious consideration. Eric says, hey, Amir. Anna says, you're so welcome, Amir. Eric says, it's going great. It's just using it to get back in shape. You picked a tough one to get back in shape with. On my non-burpee warm-up days, so I generally use burpees to either warm up or a little bit of a finisher these days. But on my off days, I either do Tabata 4 counts, which is just 4 minutes of 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. And it will last for just shy of 4 minutes. 4 counts are best because you want to move fast. You're going all out. You're turning this into a sprint set. If you do 1 pumps, you're not going to get your heart rate up in the same way when you do 4 counts. So 20 seconds, as many as you can get, 4 count burpees. You don't even want to do the jump. You just want to do 4 count burpees. The best that I've gotten is 10 all the way through, and that's tough. That was tough for me. Give it a try. Let me know what you guys get. I'm old, beaten up, so 10 is probably relatively slow. Eric Lapointe, he's young, he's spry, he's a spring chicken. And then on my other days, when I don't want to do the 4 count, I've been doing Burpees Bandits supercharged routine. This is continuously working through. He does it for 11 minutes. I do it for however long I feel like it. Hi, Mercy, my friend. Like 12, I appreciate that. Mercy, I love you, my friend. Oh, she beat me to it. She says, Eric, I love you. I love you too, Mercy. So you do one pump with a jump. You want to get the jump in. Then you do 2 pump burpee with a kick out in between. So you hit the ground, push up, kick out, push up, then you come back up. Then you do Navy SEAL. Then you do 4 squats, and then you start over again. It's a good workout. You see the progression. So you got a 1 pump with a jump, you got a 2 pump with a kick out, and you have a Navy SEAL, which is 3 pumps. Then you got 4 squats. What's my best pace on your smartwatch when jogging, Yogi? It's a good question. I don't know, as I haven't done like a continuous jog in a while. Nowadays, I throw it in when I feel like running. I just go out. Generally, I start and I walk. And then if I feel like running, I run for however long I feel like. And then I go back to walking. Or I do a continuous walk. So far this year on my walking, on my power walk, my best pace is, my best mile is I think 12:53 power walk. But I average about 13:20-ish, 13:30 for a good pace. Hey, Sniper. How's your girlfriend, Yogi? Is she good? She's still under the weather. She's stuffed up. Michael says, nobody ever died from burpees, right? I do Tai Chi. I don't jog. Where did that go? Any really strenuous stuff. So now when we jog, jogging should be easy. Jogging should be pleasurable. You can almost think of it as almost as a massage. As a matter of fact, my kettlebell training coach, way back in the day, used to call it a lung massage. Get your kettlebell workout and then go for a lung massage. Lung massage, about 20 minutes. I don't race anymore. Not saying that I won't again one day, but right now I don't. So even with my kettlebells, I get in a hard workout, but I'm not seeing how many reps I can get, or I seldom do. I just love being able to do what I do. Laura says I would have to do a modified version. Now you can do that Tabata routine. Remember, 20 on, 10 seconds off. On almost anything that you can work continuous and fast. You can do it with jumping jacks. You can do it push-ups. I don't recommend it with push-ups. You can get a good pump, but you don't get your heart rate up all that much. Squats, lunges, all real good for doing those intervals. Michael says, I do like doing long hikes, all 6 or 7 miles all the way up the mountain, like the waterfall, like the crazy waterfalls. Also, Michael, hikes are great. That's the thing with ultra running. Unless you're one of the top level guys, and you're going for the win or the top 10, most of us when we're ultra running get in a lot of hiking. As a matter of fact, my last 5 races, I power walked. And you know what I enjoyed about power walking? Beating the runners. You know what I enjoyed about beating the runners? They would get so pissed off. I sound so unenlightened. They would get so pissed off at being beaten by a walker. But there's a reason for that. Middle of the pack, end of the pack, everyone starts off too fast. You might start off at a 9-minute mile, a 10-minute mile, an 11-minute mile, which is fast for a 50-mile race, or even a 50K if you're not one of the top guys. It's a ridiculous pace if you're going for a 100-mile finish, unless you're pretty awesome. I was not pretty awesome. So I would start a 100-mile race as a runner, let's say at a 10-something pace, which is conservative. By mile 40, I'd slow down to a 13 or 14. By mile 80, I was walking anyway, throwing in a little bit of running. As a walker, I go out at a 14-something pace. At mile 40, I'm at a 14-something pace. Throughout the night, around mile 80 or so, I might slow down a little bit to 15 or 16-something pace. But that's more just to get some rest, and then in the morning, 10 miles to go, I'm back down to a 14, maybe even faster pace. So it's at maintaining that consistency. Tomorrow is Taco Tuesday. That says, I'd hike a small mountain a day if I could. So good for the soul. I agree. Even a big hill out in the woods. Soma says, I'm just protecting your relationship with Kat and Jack. I'm doing the same with my sister Selena and Benny Blanco as well. Well, I appreciate that. Michael says, it's better after 55 to lift barefoot for precipitation. Feet widen out as we get older. I wear barefoot shoes or minimalist shoes most of the time. Thanks for coming in, Mercy. Hey, Fred. Fred, thanks for being here, too. Fred goes right to work whenever he shows up. I always appreciate you, Fred. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for all your support. And thank you for all your support, Fred. Any questions about lesson 16, guys? You seriously have done a 100-mile race before? That's pretty awesome. I've done a couple 100-mile races, but I finished less than I've started. I've never done less than 60 some miles. I think no, that's not true. I've done about 2 races where I only got 60 miles in. This was Mohican. the Mohican 100, which is a tough race. I never finished it. Never made it through. The last time I dropped because I couldn't see. Um, it was dark. It was overcast. When I had my lamp on, I was literally hallucinating shadows and stuff. Uh, so I dropped. So I don't know. I got about 3 buckles, 300s, out of about 7 or 8 attempts. I finished every 50 miler that I've done. I've done about 120 ultras over a 10-year period. My then wife and I, well, actually we weren't married, but we were still together. We did an ultra a month for about a decade, sometimes more. That says nothing but concrete and tower blocks around here. Maybe I'll hike a steep set of stairs. I do when I can't get outside in the afternoon, or I just don't want to. I do stair climbing all over the place. I have the Wayne S. McCartney Memorial Track in my house. When my father got too sick, when he had to use a walker, it's before he was really sick, but he had to use a walker. We couldn't get outside and walk every day. We would walk from the living room, through the kitchen, down the hallway, back into the living room. Little small circle. But my dad would walk. The last day before he went to the hospital for the last time, he did make it home. He passed away here. But the day before he went to the hospital, I helped him from his wheelchair. I walked behind him. He was, man, it was tough. He used his walker. Helped him from the wheelchair. He used his walker. He was in a catheter bag. We had it hooked on the walker. And we did a lap. My dad would do it. He would get it done. I dubbed it, after he passed away, the Wayne S. Memorial Track. And we go right by my steps. So if it's pouring down rain and I've already walked in the morning and I don't want to go back out in the afternoon, or I do it after dinner, I'll do a few laps around our little track, up the stairs, down the stairs, a few laps, up the stairs, down the stairs. It's important to do something. If you could walk up and down the stairs for 1 minute after every meal, you will do a great service to your body as far as keeping your blood sugar level down and avoiding diabetes in your older years. 1 minute, 5 minutes is even better. Michael says, so when you do these ultra marathons and you're pushing yourself like that to the extreme, does that become like a spiritual thing for you? It has become a spiritual thing for me. But you know what? Everything can be a spiritual thing for you. I had an epiphany my very first 100-mile failure, mile 66. I tried to run it very pure, eating only fruit. I refused to take Advil if I needed it, and I needed it. And I went out way too fast. I believed my own hype. I had a legendary ultra runner say, you could finish your first 100 in 19 hours, which is fast. Under 19 hours, and I believed him. So I went out at that pace. Big mistake for your first 100. I had a friend of mine who was working at an aid station, and he took a photo of me at mile 40, and he shared it on Facebook and said, this is a guy mile 40 in, and he's not even breaking a sweat. Again, I believed my own hype. Mile 50, I started limping. Mile 66, I knew I was done. My body was wrecked. And as I was walking, I was reliving all the disappointments, all my hard work, all my hard training, all the hype over. Mile 66. And I started looking around, and One side of me was the C&O Canal, the other was the Potomac River. Nope, Shenandoah River. No, Potomac River. Sorry. Shenandoah is close by. Shenandoah and Potomac meet in Harper's Ferry. Hey, Abigail. Lakers won. Awesome. And the epiphany was I have mountains to one side. I have a river the next to me. I saw otters. I saw beavers. I saw eagles, deer. There was a bear cub up a tree that we saw. I don't know whatever happened to it. It was a beautiful day. And here I was, miles meant absolutely nothing. I spent an entire day plus doing what I love to do in a place that I absolutely love. I didn't need an arbitrary distance. I still wanted to finish, right? But I didn't need to finish. From then on, I approached all of my races in a really relaxed manner. If I finished, I finished. If I didn't, it was out in the woods, sometimes for 24 hours. You can't beat that. So it became very relaxed. One thing I learned, the races that I finished was when I completely let go of all expectations. Just surrendered, and I went out there for the fun of being out there. What's up, Jamie? That says, was running part of your recovery, Yogi? Or did you jog amongst bad habits? I've jogged amongst bad habits. I've been literally working out every day of my life since the age of 11. Training for different things, but always training for something. Now, for a long time, running was just conditioning. I ran to get in shape for football. I ran to get in shape for martial arts. I ran to recover from a previous workout. It was only when I was 45 when I started a serious race and re-raced everything from 5K to 100-mile races to 24-hour races. Whatever came along, we would go ahead and race it. I would use marathons as training runs. So I would do a marathon on a Saturday, and then the next day we'd go out for a slow 20-mile run walk so that we'd be training for a 100-mile race. As far as recovery from my decade plus of hardcore drinking, it's amazing. I never missed a workout with a hangover, but I never missed a workout with a hangover. It naturally fell into place. You know, it was a good addition. But man, this is tough to talk about. My recovery was ridiculously easy. Quitting drinking for me was ridiculously easy. And some people say, well, then you weren't really addicted or you weren't really an alcoholic. I don't care. Call it what you want. I went out and drank every single night of my life for over a decade with the sole purpose of drinking myself into oblivion and sometimes not caring if I stayed in oblivion. That I was a destructive drinker. I didn't go out to have a good time. I went out to get drunk. I went out to put myself in a precarious and dangerous position. I did stupid things. I did stupid things involving other people. You can say because my quitting was easy for me that it negates the experience of a decade of addiction. But for an entire decade, I could not go without going out and taking a drink. I might have missed an occasional day of drinking. I would take a day off. I competed in some martial art tournaments. I would take a day off before. You don't want to get thrown on the judo mat with a hangover. Thanks for dropping the link, Sissy. And the reason why my sobriety was easy, people say, was it hard for you to quit drinking? I never tried to quit drinking, ever. Why would I? That would defeat the purpose of destroying myself. But during that entire decade, I was planting seeds of sobriety. I was studying A Course in Miracles to the best that I could. I was meditating. I was practicing yoga. I was reading all kinds of spiritual texts. I was, you see, Paramahansa Yogananda. I was doing the Self-Realization Fellowship course. Back in the day of mail order, you got a lesson a month. Um, and I did that quite serious, no matter what. I would do the course for days, weeks, sometimes for months, and then it would get too much, and I put it aside. But then I'd start over and start over, planting those seeds. As I was doing that, especially as I was seriously meditating, bad habits began to drop. I stopped smoking without trying. My diet began to change. The one thing I held on to was drinking, until I was pulled over for drinking and driving by an off-duty police officer. As soon as I saw the lights flash behind me, I knew if I wanted to be, I was done drinking. It wasn't a decision. I knew if I wanted it, and all I had to do was stop. I can't even describe it as a choice. I just knew that if I wanted to, I was done. I could see it clearly, how each direction, whatever I stepped in that direction, how my life would unfold. In the way of sobriety, it was a mystery. In the way of drinking, it was going to be short and tragic. Eventually, I would hurt someone and myself. I don't know why. When the off-duty state trooper said, "Roll down your window, sir," and then he said, "Have you been drinking?" And I said, "Yes, but I will never drink again. I'm done." He believed me. He told me he believed me afterwards, later. And I never wanted to drink again. I was done. I don't know why that happened, other than I was given the grace of my practice. Meditation paid off. Tyson, you can quit drinking. I don't know what it will be for you to bring you to that point, but you can quit drinking. I promise you. I always tell people, I'll dive back in the chat in a minute, guys. Bill says it's tough. It can be tough. It doesn't have to be tough, though. I can promise you that. It does not have to be tough. But you need to replace the drinking. I tell people with dieting, with exercise, with addiction, start putting in place things that cultivate what you want. Don't worry about quitting something yet. Start meditating. Start eating healthier food. Thank you, Fred. It's been going on 27 years now that I've never even considered taking a drink. Not really. Hey, Total Property. Start meditating, your life will begin to change. I talked about this at the beginning of the year. If you start meditating now, your life will be 180-degree difference by this time next year. I promise you. If you start to cultivate a serious practice of daily meditation, if you do breath work 3 times a day, if you do an easy asana practice, easy postures, easy, and I'm talking like 5 postures every day, your life will change. You will rewire your central nervous system to be something other than you are right now. Change your thoughts and your life will change. That sounds easy. Well, I'm just going to change my thoughts. It's not that easy. It's not that hard. Let's say that it's easy, but it's simple, but not easy. Maybe that's the best way of saying it. You need to realize that how you're thinking now isn't working for you. If you have any kind of addiction, if you're behaving in behaviors that aren't serving your best interest, if you are in relationships that are hurting you, it's because of how you are thinking right now. Notice your thoughts. Don't try to change them. Notice your thoughts. Noticing awareness, this is the whole issue of yoga. Notice what's happening and everything begins to change through the power of awareness itself. Now, A Course in Miracles wants to take it a little bit farther. Notice your thought and realize these thoughts are based upon the ego. The ego doesn't really exist. It's a construct. It's a belief system that is seeking to gain its autonomy. It wants to be separate and lead a life separate from the source, separate from each other, separate from God. But it can't really do that. How can something made up usurp? Just like using the word usurp, doesn't fit into my daily conversation often. The ego wants to usurp God's position as our primary dominance, the primary domain. Don't get caught up in the word God and say, but I'm an atheist or I'm a this and that. God is just the source. God is that Brahma, that which everything springs forth from. That's it. So we cultivate returning. Course in Miracles says, notice that all your thoughts of addiction, all of your thoughts of discord, all of your thoughts of things that aren't serving you, stem from the ego. The ego doesn't exist. What does exist is the right part of the mind that is the voice for God, the voice for who we truly are, the voice of the self with a capital S. So we're replacing that little s, that small, finite, problematic S, self, with the big S, the big self, Brahma, our connection. Course in Miracles says the Holy Spirit, the voice for God. We decide to listen to that voice, which is always quiet, always subtle, always whispers, and the thought, every loving thought is real. Let's see. Mr. Something Else says, I'm a stoner. I do what I want. Well, that's good. Bill says, I know it to be true, but the mind is a repetitive place looking for comfort and relief. So, we could break that down. The mind is split. There is the egoic mind, which is the mind of self-belief, and there is the Holy Spirit, which is the aspect of the mind, the only true aspect of the mind, that is the voice for God. In every moment, we are relating to one or the other. We're very familiar with the ego. It's been listening to us. It's been chattering to us. It's been chattering about us and other people since about the age of 2. We think that's who we are. We're not. We have these clear moments of intuition. We've all looked at a sunset, a sunrise, a waterfall, a mountaintop, and experienced profound and absolute silence, even if it's for an instant. That's the Holy Spirit. We've all had these wonderful ideas. We've all had these loving thoughts. And we shake our head and say, that's ridiculous. Can't love that way. I can't go through life feeling that way. But you can. I promise you that you can. Let me read what I wrote this morning in my blog. If you guys ever want to visit my blog, it is called Headless Now, a nod to Douglas Harding and the Headless Way. It was titled 24/7. It's continuous forgiveness, never waiting for a grievance to take hold, and near instantaneous release from whatever issue appears to trouble my mind. The trigger is indeed the blessing, allowing me a mindful moment to note my thoughts and then be gentle in correction. It's an easy life of Zen, a less formal meditation, yet equal in the peace that it brings. I forgive my every slightest trigger, quickly as able, noticing my peaceful return. And so the day goes on. So forgiveness as offered by A Course in Miracles is a Zen-like experience. We're not forgiving a deed. We're not forgiving a misconduct. We're not forgiving a person. What we're doing is recognizing nothing happens the way we think it happens. That we are given our perception, which is an interpretation of what happened. Not the thing, a perception, a story, an interpretation. and our interpretation at that. Someone else has their own interpretation, and those interpretations class. What we're doing, class. Sorry. What we're doing is looking past all of the interpretation, and we're going straight to the reality of the moment, which, as our friend Mark Anthony Lord, who was up a couple days ago, he called it light dancing with light, God dancing with God, Christ dancing with Christ. That's the essence of Namaste, the yoga salutation. The light, the love, the forgiveness within me recognizes and salutes the light, the love, the God, the forgiveness within you. My divinity greets your divinity. That's forgiveness. On the level of form, things happen. On the level of reality, the unmanifest, the formlessness itself, the level of Brahma, nothing's ever occurred. God does not recognize sin nor mistake. How could he? In perfect oneness, there's only perfect oneness. Nothing unperfect exists. Remember on the 6th day of Genesis, God surveyed his creation and said it was good. He didn't say it was all good, except for that Eric LaPointe character. I might have messed up a little bit with him. Not my best work. Except for that Yogi guy, not my best work. I could have gave him a little more hair. It could have given him the genes to hold on to that hair a little bit longer. Thanks, God. All I asked for was a couple more years, a couple more days even. I literally remember waking up one morning and seeing some hair on my pillow and thinking, crap, that's not good. Everything was good. God said everything was good. Even Yogi. And the bald gene. Even Eric LaPointe. Little did God know that he made a burpee machine. So where does anything imperfect exist? In the infinite goodness that God said good, where does something not good exist? So a lot of people will say, and I love Marianne Williamson's answer to this, well, if everything's good, why did God then create a world that's so messed up? It's a good question. Who said God did? God did not create a world that allows for starving children, for homeless people, for warfare, for crime, for murder, for mayhem. Hey man, there'll be no putting down ducks. Say what you want about me, but when you start talking trash about ducks, you and I got a problem. Ducks are pretty awesome. Ducks are so vulnerable. I absolutely love ducks. Again, I don't care if someone comes in here, they want to make fun of me, they got something to say to me, absolutely fine. I don't care. You come here, you start talking about ducks. So, if you want to critique geese, that's fine. Geese literally might be the assholes of the waterfowl kingdom. I feel bad talking about geese behind their back. They know what they've done. God didn't, man did. Absolutely. And it's our job to correct that. How do we correct it? As long as we think like man, as long as we think like limited, finite human beings, I'm here for a short time, and then who cares what comes after? We're going to have all these problems. How much is a trip to the barber out there? Thank you, Mark. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been to the barber. I apologize, Mark. I did trim my beard yesterday. Sissy says, yeah, aggressive geese. Now, I understand. Mark, thank you so much, my friend. I understand why they're aggressive. And they're only aggressive short time during the year. Back in my ultra running days, I literally rerouted 30-mile training runs. Confronted with geese, I'd be going out for, A lot of times we would just go by time, go out for a 5-mile run. I'm sorry, for a 5-hour run. And I would turn it into a 5.5-hour run because I had to reverse track because I did not want to mess with geese when they had their goslings. Yep, when they're protecting the eggs or the young, and they all protect them. They are a fierce family. You don't mess with one goose. Because from the darkness comes forth light. Me personally, I would phrase that different. Hey, Marlon. Yeah, we'll do some breath work. We'll do it just a minute. I got to end the live stream. Thanks for the reminder. So we'll end the live stream with some breath work. I would rephrase that there's no true darkness. There's only light. But we have made our own shadows, but when we return to the light, shadows will disperse. In the presence of light, there's no shadow. So I have it on good authority, guys, that the fog is coming. You would think somewhere between the 1, 2, 3, 4. You think somewhere in the space of those 4 sentences, those 4 statements, the fog would have come. Right? You think eventually the fog would have come. So if our friend Gamer Kid wants to come back and let us know when the fog has actually arrived, more importantly, let me know when the fog is leaving. Oh man, my Mohead membership is now revoked. This can be reversed easily. Not quite so easy. It's going to take a number of days for me to grow this back. All right, Marlon, we're going to do some breath work. We're going to do the physiological sigh to start our day off. I know your day's already, for many of you, the day's already going on. For me, it's just about 6 o'clock. I got to get out and get my walk. I got snow on the ground. It's going to slow me down a bit. The important thing is to get that early morning sunlight. All important. Good for the body. Good for the circadian rhythm. Good for your immune system. Good for your emotional health. Get the early morning light in. Sissy says, what happened was the fog already dispersed and we can see right through everything in it. Awesome. I actually love finding myself in the fog. I love the fog. So we're going to start our day here, at least. Physiological sigh. This is where we breathe in through the nose. Deep, we fill the belly up. You want to be breathing from the diaphragm. So we're breathing in. Belly expands. Breathe in just about 70% full. Slight pause. Sip in air to top everything off. And sigh. It's called the physiological sigh. Through the mouth. Lips pursed. Tongue on the roof of the mouth. Behind the front teeth. And whoosh. We're extending the breath. We're not blowing out. We're extending the breath. The difference is, if I blow out, it's very short and abrupt. If I extend, it's gentle. It's easy. It's soothing. That's where the relaxation comes in. 3 breaths, all we need. Mark says, you just want to see it. It'll be gone in a week or 2, but Yogi, I got to see that handle. That handlebar. It was it was close the other day. It was close. Let's see what I can do for you, Mark. Guys, you ready? Hey, Trending. How are you, my friend? Trending, it's nice to see you. Liked and shared, Sir Yogi. Much appreciated, Trending. Sissy says, I rather enjoy the suspense, the mystery, the calming condensation. That could be way more poetic. That was pretty poetic. I'd love to see you write about it, Sissy. Anna says, hello to trending. So, physiological sigh. You guys with me? Marlon, give me a thumbs up. Thank you, trending, my friend. Sissy is ready. We got a duck, a baby duck. Thumbs up. Marlon gives us a thumbs up. All right, guys, here we go. Sit, have your back straight, not rigid, relaxed. Spine erect. Let your shoulders hang down. Relax the shoulder, give a quick body scan. Top of the head, temples, jaw, shoulders, your belly, your hips, down to your feet. Everything's relaxed. We're going to take a deep breath through the nose, filling the belly. Pause, and then top it off. Sigh through the mouth. Pursed lips, tongue in the roof of the mouth, behind the front teeth. Whoosh. Breath number 1. Here we go. Top it off. Sigh. Pause. Let's scan the body again. Is there anywhere from the top of the head to the tip of the toes that you're holding stuck energy? Consciously relax that area. And then let your whole body follow suit. Relax the shoulders and the body follows. Relax the jaw and the body follows. Relax. Relax. Breath number 2, fill that belly up. Pause, sip in air, sigh. Pause, shake out your hands, just give them a shake. Roll them around, move your fingers, roll the wrists. Get all that energy moving, anything that feels stuck. Dance it out. Pretend you're a hippie. Just dance it out. Dance it out. Dance it out. Breath number 3. Fill that belly up. Sip in air. Sigh. Rest. Rest. Sacred pause. Nothing has to be done. Nothing has to be fixed. Nothing has to be corrected. Right now, in the silence of that sacred pause, in the stillness that you're offering the world, everything is perfect. Everything is good. Everything is just as it should be. Right now. The sacredness of this moment is eternal, and you can return to it in a single breath anytime during the day. Anchor this moment in. As I breathe in through the nose, as I sip, as I exhale with that sigh, I can return to this moment, relaxed and at peace, right with the world, right with other people, right with God. And so it is. And I love you guys. Sarah, my friend, how are you? Michael gives us a thumbs up. Thank you, Michael. And Sarah says, ooh, that's good. I like that. Me too. I like when things feel right. Susie says, we love you back. Thank you. I appreciate hearing that. Have I heard from Mike lately? I have not heard from Mike. How about you? Seems like he's probably a good friend of yours. You're welcome, Anna. So our friend Nino Mercury is really good friends with Mike Hawk. That's awesome. I'm glad you are my friend. I'm glad that you are friends with Mike Hawk. So it says, I'm not great, but still kicking. It's the least I can do. Well, Sarah, we are sending you love. You're welcome, Marlon. We're sending you love. Agape Omni love to you as well. Guys, if you look up above, you're going to see a link for Sissy. Make sure you guys go, say hi, hang out, soak up some wisdom, soak up the good vibes. Louise, I'm sorry I did not see your post until now. Prayers, my friend. Prayers to your friend and his family. So it says, I love you all too. Thank you, lovely. Thank you. Guys, I'll see you at 1. Remember, we have Kevin Giles showing up. He's the author of several books, 2 on the Lost Gospels. Gospel of St. Thomas, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. These reveal the deeper thinking of the earliest Christians before it became something other, before it became a position of outside power, when it was about internal power. Sissy says there are 2 links. One is Edgar the Sleeping Prophet, and the other is a bonus session from yesterday, live medicine wheel for January 2026. Awesome. All right. Thank you, Sissy. They can also be found in community section. Guys, head on over, hang out with Sissy, and give her some watch hours today. If you're familiar with our friend Nikki Lee, by the way, give her some watch hours as well. All right, guys, I'm going to go. Taking my walk in the snow. I love you. I'll see you later.